Will Sami Zayn dethrone Roman Reigns to become the undisputed WWE Universal Champion? That is the big question coming in today's show for WWE Elimination Chamber 2023 predictions. Of course, we've got two chamber matches we're going to be talking about as well. We've got as well a mixed tag team match. And of course, we've got the trilogy completed potentially with Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. So 5 matches to go through. Let's see that match card one more time. And then we'll get our guests on the show here today. So that is the match lineup there for you. Like I say, we're on the road to WrestleMania, going through the fast lane this Saturday. And I tell you what, to make sure this is an action-packed, fast podcast for you here today, I've not got one, I've got 2 guests with me, starting off with, well, a regular on the channel. We're used to hearing his opinions on all things WWE. And of course, it's been a little while since we've had him on. It's great to have him back. It is none other than Jonesy Chats Wrestling. George, how are you doing?
Very well. Thank you for having me back. It's great to be back. It's been a while. It's great to catch up. I hope you're well.
I'm very well, thank you. I think Survivor Series was the last time
we had you on. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Well, WWE have also spaced out the show, so I mean, it's been a little while really since we've had premium live events. We've only had the Rumble, and after this, we've got to wait till April for WrestleMania, which is absolute insanity. But it's a great time to be talking about pro wrestling. Like I say, not only Jonesy we've got today, we've got another guy who is one of the hardest working in our sort of content creates, industry that we do. He has his own channel. He does Wrestle Extra with Black Wrestling Alliance. He's also part of the team Rest Things. And as I like to say each and every time, he's a maniac, don't you know? Of course, it is none of them. Mex, WrestleManiac UK. Mex, how you doing, my good friend?
I'm good, man. These intros get better every time I'm on this channel, but I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me. Great to be here with you and Jonesy. It was like the originals kind of getting back together, somewhat. So yeah, man, I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely, it's like your favorite boy band making a reunion. So if you're stateside, it's like a bit of Backstreet Boys. If it's the UK, maybe it's something like Take That or something. It's it's got that vibe there for you. But Mex, I try and improve it each and every time. Speaking of music bands, hopefully next time maybe I can do actual bit of karaoke and get the Maniac song actually playing for you next time you're on. But I don't know. We'll see how well we can do it. But guys, before we get started, obviously to everyone that is watching, whether you're watching now live, feel free to join in with your predictions in the chat. We'd like to know your thoughts for Elimination Chamber this Saturday. And of course, if you're watching on delay, thank you for watching us. We appreciate you taking the time to choose this channel, to choose this predictions podcast. And like I say, make sure to drop your predictions in the comments at the end of the video. And of course, I haven't put the links in just yet, guys. I do apologize, but I will put the links to both of your channels also in the description of this video so everyone can go and subscribe to your channels and check out your fantastic content. But before we get started, Jonesy, I will start with you then on a scale of 1 to 10, Elimination Chamber this Saturday. What is your excitement level at?
I'm an 8. I think it's the most important Elimination Chamber pay-per-view event ever. Like the levels, not because of the Elimination Chamber match, but that main event is a top-tier main event, to be fair. Like without going into it now in a lot of detail. I think I'm an 8. This is the most excited I've been about a Roman Reigns match in ages, to be fair.
Absolutely. Well, I don't even need to ask what match you're most looking forward to there, Mex. So you've got the same sort of feelings?
Yeah, I'll definitely say 8 as well, to be fair. Like, it is very important. It's super consequential, not only for obviously what the men are doing in that heavyweight division with Roman, but we need to crown a #1 contender for Bianca. The US title match, in some aspects, you might say it could be a foregone conclusion. In others, you might say it's wide open. So, there's a lot of important stuff that's going to happen on this show and transcend into WrestleMania. So yeah, very good show, and they've built it very, very well.
They have indeed. I would have to agree with you both. The importance of this show, it is at fever pitch. Like you said, the repercussions can be, well, they could change WrestleMania massively. You've only got to look, for example, the title scene. Should Sami Zayn do it? It kind of feel like an Eddie Guerrero moment back in 2004 at No Out with Brock Lesnar. That changed everything with WrestleMania. If we go back to chamber matches, I believe it was 2009 at No Way Out. Edge walked in as the WWE champion, lost in the first match, in the first chamber match, took out Kofi Kingston in the main event, walked away the World Heavyweight Champion on SmackDown, of course. So everything can change. Lots can happen on the road to WrestleMania. We've seen Kofi Mania be born through this event as well. So, I mean, lots lots can happen. We'll have to wait and see how it's going to go down. But well, I'll tell you what, let's not waste any time, gents, because, well, we've got a heck of a card to go through, and it feels like a lot of people in the room are most excited about this match. So let's kick it off, shall we, with the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, going against no longer an honorary use. It is Sami Zayn. I mean, to be fair, guys, WrestleMania is going to be in Hollywood. This storyline has felt like cinema. It's been absolutely beautiful and poetic to watch. From Sami Zayn saying he was the locker room leader to the point where he says he's got the ties to talk to the bloodline. We went through that entire summer where, let's be fair, we didn't know where it was going to go. He had communications with the Usos early on. They said if they wanted him to keep hanging around, he needed to sort of prove his worth. Roman wanted that as well. And obviously, when it got to sort of War Games this past November, he more than proved it by, giving a low blow to his best friend, the one that was Kevin Owens that came back into that match, the prize fighter as well. Sami was the honorary use. I got too big for his boots in his role. He overstepped the boundaries, saying he would get victories to the bloodline, which Roman said, why was you trying to do that? Are you trying to become the head of the table? Soon we found ourselves with Sami being in tribal court. Sami knew the writing was on the wall for him, but of course it was Jey Uso at the time that stuck his neck out for him, someone that wasn't a fan at the start. Now we've got ourselves to a situation at the Royal Rumble. Kevin Owens was beaten by Roman Reigns, and we knew then at a point Sami thought, well, the beatdown was going to continue. Enough is enough. And, we say blood is thicker than water, guys. Well, obviously, best friendship, the friendship of 20 years with Sami and KO still stood strong in that moment. Sami actually stabbing in the back of Roman Reigns, and obviously at that point, taking his beating from the rest of the bloodline, minus Jey Uso. We've got now to the build here then of this show. Sami said he never wanted anything from the bloodline, but now he wants those championships. He wants to beat them. And obviously Roman got his revenge nice and quickly with it, of course, saying with the bloodline beating him down, you did this and tore my family apart. I'm going to do that for you. The same thing at this show at the Elimination Chamber for his fans, his friends, his family. And of course, since then, Sami, he's had an amazing time on Monday Night Raw with Cody Rhodes. Can he do it? Cody says, look, he's going to finish his story at WrestleMania. He believes, Cody, that he could be facing Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. Like I said, Cody says he's going to finish his story at Mania, but Sami needs to finish his story this Saturday. So without further ado, that's pretty much the build. They're summed up as quick as I can. We probably could have done that for about 10-15 minutes. Mex, what are your thoughts with the build of this? It's been long-term storytelling at its finest. What are your thoughts going into this match?
This has been the best story in wrestling in 2022 and now in 2023. Like this story is incredible. And to this point, we've always known it's going to get to a point where Sami was going to be discommunicated. It was how they were going to do it and where that leaves Sami. And Sami right now, until maybe this past Monday, where I would argue that Cody regained that top spot as a babyface, Sami is like one of the biggest babyfaces in the company. Now, do we expect him to go on and beat Roman? It's almost inconceivable. And to be honest, a lot of people say Sami's been booked like a joke over the last year. I wouldn't really agree with that, to be honest. He has been booked as the weakest in the bloodline. However, he was just meant to be an Elias and just someone that's in the bloodline, not so much, a wrestler, a competitor, someone that held the championship. Everyone that stepped up to Roman, it doesn't matter what your name is. We thought Drew was going to do it at Clash of the Castle. Drew didn't do it. Lesnar's had 2 pops last year, didn't do it. So it's not to think that I don't think that Sami's going to win. Should Sami be winning? Possibly. There's an argument. I think the overall argument is more that this is Jey Uso and Sami Zayn that the real tension lies with. And if anyone is probably to beat Roman, the full circle, it should be Jey Uso, in my opinion. But what they are going to do is have a rapturous crowd in Montreal to perform in front of. Again, bringing to at least maybe an end this side of the story between Sami and Roman. Roman's going to pull out his best 2.999 kickouts for the night. Sami's probably going to win this title, quote unquote, multiple times, and there's going to be no referee present or something's happening. Solo will probably be involved. It's going to be a fantastic match. Sami Zayn's going to put to bed all of the Sami's just a joke man, not a real wrestler. He's going to bring out his greatest hits as well. And it's going to be a close shave, but I expect Roman to retain.
Yeah, I mean, you've hit so many great points there. I almost don't know which one to start off with there, but I suppose one that you've mentioned there that could be key. You mentioned the ideas of Jey Uso, but another one is the crowd. Montreal, it is Sammy's hometown that's going to play into this so perfectly. We saw Sami in Montreal in a 5-way on SmackDown last year in about, I think it was probably August, September time, and literally the crowd was so into what Sami was doing at that point. This almost, Jonesy, must feel like Sami Zayn's WrestleMania moment here at this show. It sure doesn't get much better than this.
No, they've done a fantastic job. Obviously, I've been calling sort of Sami Zayn to be in this spot since August. Like, kind of, it's pretty forthcoming. I think it's one of them things where this feels bigger than WrestleMania for me. I think the build and work on Sami Zayn's been incredible to get this baby face. You can't just generate these baby faces. You need to kind of build them up, and the way WWE have done that has been fantastic. In terms of sort of a prediction for me, they can do one of three things if they want to be controversial. The first one is Roman Reigns wins by Jey Uso sort of turning, which is just really lazy. It's really obvious. Anyone can see that a mile away. You do get the tag team match at WrestleMania with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Putting them two in the tag team division is a real downgrade for me. It doesn't really work. The other option is not popular, but this is what I would do. You do a DQ. You still do Jey turning, but then ultimately Sami's still protected. They need to find a way really to get Sami into this main event to make it a triple threat at WrestleMania. That's really the route they need to go down. And the third option, controversial is not, Montreal screw job. It's in Montreal after all. You could bring that back and you can use that in some incarnation as well, which is kind of Paul Heyman involved in some way. But I think the way they'll do it, Sami really does want to get him pinned here. Roman's not getting pinned either. DQ's the way that I think it'll end.
Interesting. So if it goes to a DQ, obviously, do you think then we'd have that a cinematic end to the show, just kind of like what we had at the Royal Rumble?
I think you will. I think you'll get that. And I think you'll get Jey Uso sort of ultimately. He's going to turn because the tag team titles need to be defended at WrestleMania, so he needs to turn clearly. But then this is how they keep it going. I think if you're not going to have Sami Zayn there in this main event at WrestleMania, I don't really know. To me, it doesn't really feel like a main event. Although Cody's done a fantastic job with Cody building him up. This is the point really where Sami has to stay this hot. The only way to do that is either give him the belt or you keep elevating him. Let's get him into WrestleMania. This will really then make the world title match open.
Interesting. I like the sort of split arguments there. Obviously, you saying the idea needing of triple threat match at WrestleMania. Max, where do you stand? Do you think Sami should be included in that main event, or do you think it's right there he goes for the tag team championships? Should they build that story correctly here this Saturday?
Yeah, I don't expect to see a triple threat, nor do I really want to see one. I think it'll be they've done so well on this story. I mean, we can all chip in and see like, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that, but as it is, we can't deny they have done a great job. I think it'll be a bit of a cop-out if they just slide Sami into the main event with Cody and Roman. The one thing I think that just on Jonesy's, some of his suggestions, I think it's pretty much confirmed. Jey Usos and Jimmy aren't going to be there because of their driving offenses, the DUIs. They're not allowed out of the country. That's why you didn't see them at Clash of Castle. Solo popped up, so they're not going to be in Canada. Now, it doesn't negate the fact that they could get a guy similar build, Jey Uso, black hoodie, to viciously interfere, and then on Friday, next week after Elimination Chamber, they play it off as, oh, who was under that hoodie? It was Jey Uso, but he's not going to be there because he's not allowed in the country. So Solo could fill that position. That's another choice. Solo was the one that after all was sent by the elders to have Roman's back as per Clash of the Castle, so that's always an option. I did want something where before the DUI thing became apparent, where Jey Uso was the one to cost him. I think that would have been the obvious thing to do, but Jey Uso has to literally and I don't mean to be sinister, but come within, breaths of taking Sami's life. Like the beatdown would have to be so intense to kind of motivate that WrestleMania match, even if it, some will see it as a downgrade to be in a tag match. The one way they can still kind of go about that is making that tag match main event of maybe night one, because as a story, it deserves to be there. But I'm always an advocate, especially since they started doing these 2-night WrestleManias. The women's Royal Rumble winner should have one night. It's only fair. So yeah, that's one way around it. But yeah, leave the triple threat stuff out of it. I'd rather they do something like maybe Cody and Sami on night one, and the winner from there goes on to Roman on night two, rather than them do a triple threat.
Yeah, and to be honest, I've kind of got to that point where I kind of feel similar because I was like, we did a podcast, Max, you and me, a little while ago for your channel, saying how
Yeah.
we felt Sami Zayn probably should be the one to do it
Yeah.
at that point. He was so over at that time, but the way they brought things back, and like you said there, making a triple threat for me, yes, it's a combination of two storylines, but the Cody Roman storyline hasn't had a chance to get off the ground yet. So all of a sudden, Cody becomes the spare piece, even though he's the Rumble winner. And I kind of feel like with this royal family storyline, they can do the Rhodes, versus Roman's bloodline. I think it can build its own storyline on its own. And we've kind of seen it already with Cody and Paul Heyman. Such a beautiful start that they did that. As much as I would love to see Sami Zayn be the guy, and I think I was a huge advocate on that podcast of that needs to happen.
Yeah.
I think it's got to a point where I kind of agree that maybe at this moment, they don't need to take Sami completely out of the radar of the main event scene. I don't see it as a, like you said, if the tag team titles match was the main event of night one of WrestleMania, we've had tag team matches main event WrestleMania, but never the tag team championships. That would be a first ever to my knowledge. Anyone that's in the chat that knows otherwise, please tell me. But at the same time, for me, I do believe that perhaps now we should go with that. Sami and KO should have their run with the tag titles at some point. Maybe then they go for a breakdown, whether Sami wins Money in the Bank or Royal Rumble next year. Sami can remain still that hot commodity if they do things right. But going off something else that Mex said just a second ago there, I can't remember the source, and I'd like to give the sources when I see these things, but apparently I think the Usos are going to be allowed in. Even though they've been written off of TV for SmackDown this week, I do think they are allowed.
I think they'll be there as well. I've not heard anything anywhere to say they're not, but it would make sense really from a whole point of the storyline. I don't get where else there is to pay this off unless you're going to do this big Usos turn in at WrestleMania. It's a long way to delay, isn't it? April, and it's been done so well. That's the thing. I think with it, this is you just need to find a way to get that to that next layer, and it'll be just what they've done. I think everything so far has been kind of faultless. It's just a case of where they do. But for me personally, when you've got thunder in a bottle, where you've got Sami Zayn with the overness he's got all of a sudden from nowhere, you don't really get these opportunities too much. This is really the time for that button to be pushed, so to speak. I think you can sort of get Sami Zayn. You've got to keep him over. The thing is, if he's getting pinned by Roman, I don't know sort of what you do after that. The sympathy vote's kind of gone a little bit, unless you then have to get him back to that point where in 6 months he's then able to challenge for a world title. That's the thing. It's always a numbers game, though, isn't it? With the stable versus whoever Roman faces, it's always numbers, which they've not really sort of done anything with Sami Zayn in terms, other than Jey Uso, as somebody to equal out the numbers, so to speak.
So that's if back with your point of the sympathy vote, Jonesy, if the Usos are allowed to be in the country and are at Elimination Chamber, again, it goes back to my thing. There's very little they can do to, kind of continue this and then motivate that WrestleMania match. Sami and Roman in its own entity will just have to be a fantastic match. Like I say, Sami just goes back to, the roots. El Generico, Sami Zayn puts on a fantastic performance. Lots of close shaves, nearly wins the title. But then Jey Uso has to literally come out and brutalize him. Like to the point where, during the match, costing the match, and then after the match, if you like, to the point where, Sami's entire focus changes and he needs a partner to go up against the Usos.
You can do that.
Kevin Owens. I think that's the only way that we, protect Sami in one sense, like you're saying, and still get the sympathy for him to motivate the next match.
It's just how they're going to get the crowd not to turn on it. I remember being in Cardiff like you were as well. The minute Drew didn't get the job done against Roman, the crowd instantly turned on it.
Yeah, that was mad.
They're going to be rabid. Like if Sammy's not probably going to get the belt in all honesty, is he? Let's be fair. But the crowd are going to be absolutely rabid. But then if you do that angle, it's where they go kind of next to it. But I'm excited. I think it's great to see this. And I think for me, they just need to come out of it with more stuff for us to talk about. I think if it comes out and it's the storyline's done, like that's the end of it, I think it would be a bit of a waste, really. Not the problem.
It sets up Sami, like we're saying, for WrestleMania nicely. And even if we do get that reaction from Montreal, it sets up Cody nicely, because Cody, as a Royal Rumble winner, walking into this, like Cody's a businessman that said when in his own company, I don't want to win the world championship because I don't want people to think I'm booking myself to the top. So Cody can see that this is the guy the fans want. They don't want me to per se. You see what I mean? They'd rather have Sami at this point. So Roman coming out as an even bigger heel to go and then face, Cody, people are going to be now super behind Cody. Like, no, we need to take the belt off this guy. Cody, you're our guy. And they kind of course corrected that whole situation a bit. So like we're saying, it's just fantastic. As a main event as well, they've done a great job.
They really have. And the thing is, like you said there, like they're sort of making the placements there. So Cody has a clear path. There's not going to be this area where fans have the ability to turn. And if they put the story and put the pieces right, it's like a chess game at this moment, just getting those sort of right pieces there to get the finish there correctly and perfectly leading on to WrestleMania. But to give my take on what I think is going to go down, I thought one of two ways of how this could go along, but I'm going to go with what I think, like you said, Jonesy, how do you rescue it at the end of the match? So this is the one I'm going to go with. I think early in the match, it'll be Roman and Solo that come out to the ring. I think Solo will be ejected from ringside naturally. I thought maybe someone else could take care of that, but I think he'll be ejected naturally, so it becomes one-on-one because the Usos are not meant to be there in sight. It comes to a point then, like you said, those near fall after near fall after near fall, ref bump after ref bump, and then we can get a moment where Jey Uso does come out. If he is allowed there, I think he will come out. I think it's a nice touch you makes you make, maybe someone to be hooded if not. But if Jey Uso comes to the ring, could be that sort of thing of confliction where both guys are down. He looks at one, he looks at the other. You know, Sami said to him as well, you've got a way out if you want it. You've got that way out now. So you can have that confliction. It could almost be like a Shawn Michaels Ric Flair moment from WrestleMania 24, like, I love you, and then stab whoever he's going to be in the back. And I think that's what he'll do to Sami. And I think that's the point when it's the 1, 2, 3. I think then at that point, you know, they've made their allegiances, they've made their choice. Roman wins the match. And then from that point onwards, it could be a similar story to what they're going to do at the Royal Rumble. The super kicks, the beatdown. As soon as it looks like it's going to be the same thing for Sami Zayn, that's when Kevin Owens returns to get a monster pop, because KO, obviously also being from Canada, is that saving grace. Can he make the difference? That's a big question, because of course it's still 2 on, what is it, 4 at this point. Paul Heyman's not going to count, is
you
he?
Get Cody out as well, though. You bring Cody out as well. That's an equalizer. That's how you do that, really, thinking logically. Not that.
But because Cody's not booked for a match on this show, so that can be a way to do it as well. And obviously that evens up the numbers a little bit, and that can make things quite interesting to close off the show, whether it's the, you know, is Solo sent to the back or he's not knocked out on the floor. We've got KO and Sami beaten with the Usos on the outside, the stare down with Roman and Cody. That's a perfect way to end your show.
It's exciting.
It is very exciting. Well, I'll tell you what, it's very exciting. We've talked about this match for about 16 minutes, and God bless our chat for being patient for us. Thank you, all of you. It's KXI in the house saying that what's going on. Hope all is well. Thank you, KXI. Hope you are doing well. Also, Eric Douglas has said that he wants Sami in the bank. Please let it happen. But he hopes also that Sami gets his main event maybe next year. Who knows to say? Next year is always a possibility. It just feels now it could be right with it being Cody. KXI is also going to say people tend to forget Sami gets added to the WrestleMania match. What is Kevin Owens going to do? How is he? How is them being in the tag title a downgrade? Usos have been champions for like 2 years, basically too many Roman Reigns. Jonesy, I'll let you answer that then, because obviously that's in response to your comment there. Do you feel that that it is a downgrade then for Kevin and Sami then to go against the Usos? Because I personally agree that storyline is where it started with Sami and the Usos when the Bloodline was involved.
I think the thing with that there's a bigger picture to this. Obviously, when this all started, Sami Zayn was a mid-carder. He's now going to be a main eventer. He's moving ratings. He's one of the people that moves ratings ultimately. So the tag team titles have never been bigger than the world title, have they, ever? So I think it's a great match. Don't get me wrong, it's good. It's a good sort of feel-good story. But for me, like 6 months' time, 8 months' time, am I really going to sort of remember KO and Sami Zayn as tag team champions? And probably not. They're just going to be other names that face the Usos a little bit. I think Sami Zayn in the main event picture for me personally, it means more. Like, this is somebody you've got this, I said earlier, thunder in the bottle that can literally come and change stuff. He's somebody that they haven't had because they've not done a particularly great job of building up contenders to face Roman Reigns over the past 2 years. They haven't. And this is somebody they've got now that can really sort of, realistically, you can buy into it. They can actually see getting the job done. They had it with Drew at Clash of Castle. They've got it even more so now with Sami Zayn for me.
Interesting. Now,
fair play. Sorry, go on.
Go on, Max. You carry on.
I was just going to say, I think it's a downgrade in the sense that obviously the world title is here and everything else is under it. But if they put Sami and KO against the Usos in the main event of WrestleMania Night 1, that can't be a downgrade.
No, it's the main event. It's a main event, but it's not going to be the main event, is it? Really, what you say is spot on. But
I mean, the main event of Night 1.
They're not going to do that, but that would make sense. That is not a downgrade if you put in the main event. I agree with you.
Yeah.
It would be a big thing as well. Obviously, Rhea and Charlotte is the other match. And I mean, I agree with Mex. The Rumble winners should get the spot. But if you are going on storyline basis here, of course, Rhea and Charlotte have the history. But this story is the hottest story going. So there is 2 sides to this. So we have to wait and see what WWE are going to do. But I think as well, when the Usos lose their tag team titles, they're the longest reigning tag team champions ever. Like, better than Demolition, better than New Day, better than whoever's done it before. It will be a big deal, whoever beats them. And Sami and KO would, hopefully, you imagine, would get that. And I mean, Noob and Co, thank you for checking out the stream as well. Noob, great to have you on board. Says Roman is winning. Sami Zayn will have his Mania moment when him and KO beat the Usos. So it seems to be clear that everyone thinks that's the direction it's going to go. One last comment as well from KXI said, I honestly want this match to be Roman versus Jay and Sami versus Kevin at NXT. I want Sami to have a hope spot, but Roman Reigns puts him down quickly. Sami should bleed in this match. Some interesting points there were from KXI there of how he wants to see it go down there. But guys, I mean, obviously, we want to, we've got 4 other matches to discuss as well. This is match 1, everyone that's joining the stream, by the way. But let us know your comments as we go through. We've got 4 more banging matches to go. But just to reconfirm there, Mex, you're going for a Roman Reigns victory?
Yep.
Jonesy, are you going for a DQ or are you going for a clear Roman Reigns win?
I'm going DQ.
DQ it is. I will go for a clear Roman Reigns win, but I think this, for me, I think it's going to be at least a 25-minute main event. I think this could be one of, I'm going to say this is going to be Roman's best match since Daniel Bryan on SmackDown a couple of years ago. I think I'm going to go that far out. But I think Clash of the Castle was also a very, very good match last year. And, you two were both in attendance. And Mex, you've got that fantastic vlog. And I will never forget the moment you screamed out solo. It's beautiful.
Everyone always reminds me I'm screaming like a girl, solo, solo.
It's a beautiful moment. It really is. And for anyone that's not seen the video, it's worth watching it for that alone. It's absolutely glorious. But we've got one more comment that's come in, and we'll move on to our second match on the show. Anthony Diaz, who says the Usos are beating Sami and Kevin Owens. Interesting. Not a foregone conclusion.
I hope
for
not.
Anthony.
Where do they go next? The thing is, they do that. Where do they go next? That's the thing. That's the trouble, I guess.
I guess WrestleMania Backlash. I don't know. That would be interesting. But yeah.
It's a long time away, to be fair, to keep that going. But
that is a long time away. But I mean, I've got to just say quickly before we move on, I've got a video coming out tomorrow how the Bloodline storyline should end. And I'll say I don't think it's going to end at WrestleMania. I think there are more layers to the story. So yeah, that story that will be coming up tomorrow for anyone that'll be interested. Maybe hit the notifications so you don't miss it. But in the meantime, Mex and Jonesy, we're going to go on to our next match. And do you know what? Let's mix it up. We've talked about one Canadian in the house. Let's talk about another. Edge and his wife, Beth Phoenix, the grit couple, going against the Judgment Day's Finn Balor and the Royal Rumble winner for the women, Rhea Ripley. I mean, let's be fair. We're going to just go back, I think, as far as Extreme Rules for this because, well, Edge and Judgment Day has been going on for nearly a year now. We could go through a lot of layers of that storyline as well. But obviously, it was the I Quit match. That's where this kind of based from. Finn Balor winning that over Edge, mainly because Rhea Ripley was going to do the concerto to Beth Phoenix. Excuse me. Beth Phoenix then said, you taught us too well, did the concerto anyway. That ruled out Beth Phoenix until the Royal Rumble. Took out Rhea Ripley during the men's Royal Rumble match, although she still went on to win it. And now we've built up this mixed tag team match between these two here at Extreme Rules. Jonesy, what's your thoughts?
I've really enjoyed it. I think they've done a fantastic job. They've done a great sympathy vote with the way they built this feud up. I've really kind of enjoyed that. Looking forward to seeing this being paid off. And yeah, for me, I think this has been a really fun match. I'm looking forward to seeing this. This has been a great feud. Probably going to get Balor and Edge out of this at WrestleMania. They're going to have to find a route to get that. In terms of prediction, you got to go with the heels again. Like if they're particularly going to do this at WrestleMania again, Balor and Edge, I think if Edge wins this cleanly, unless there's something after where Beth gets attacked again, I don't really know how you get to a WrestleMania match. I think the heel's going to win. Finn Balor and Rhea will win. I think Rhea needs to get the pinfall. Rhea's obviously going on to WrestleMania, so I think for me, Rhea to get the pinfall. Really.
Interesting. Mex, what are your thoughts with this match?
Jonesy said some stuff there. I think he's
sorry, I need to find that once.
No. I think you've changed my opinion. I was going to say I think the grit couple win to motivate the WrestleMania match, give Finn something to do. But then, of course, like you say, Rhea's already going on there, and we don't want to see Rhea get pinned. So that leaves Finn to get pinned almost to have that match. Listen, this story's been going on for far too long. This Edge returning and then getting beaten up, and then he's off screen, and then he returns 3 months later. Like this has been happening, and I want to see this come to an end. I want Finn Balor to come out on top. I would love this to end in like some type of maybe a street fight at WrestleMania, a Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania, and we maybe get a Judgment Day version of Demon Balor against Edge. I would love something like that, and for Balor to get the shine, get the win there. But am I interested in this? I'm interested in Judgment Day. I like Judgment Day. Rhea is the one that, like I said, George is throwing the spanner in the works now, because I think I'll stick with Edge and Beth Phoenix to win, but undoubtedly they're gonna want Rhea to look strong because she's got that WrestleMania match coming up. But I'll stick with Edge and Beth.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that you've actually took my prediction there, Mex, there a little bit in there because of the fact that I do agree with one ingredient you've thrown in there. But like you said, you want to keep Rhea Ripley looking strong. Jonesy makes a fantastic point with that because of the fact that she is going to WrestleMania. She could arguably be going into a main event. If she's meant to prove that she's on Charlotte's level, she shouldn't be losing matches. The only thing is though, if she's not the one to take the pinfall, that's your way around it. And the thing is, the Grit couple need to get something somewhere. WrestleMania can be the place, but does Edge need another WrestleMania win? That's my wondering with this. I kind of feel that we need to sort of start building the stars of tomorrow. So, and look, spoiler alert, we've said Sami Zayn already not to win in Canada. Natalya ain't winning in Canada. I'm sorry for any of the Canadian viewers watching. I've got to go for a Canadian to win somewhere here. So I'm going to go for the Grit couple to win purely because I think then it does give Finn Balor motivation. We've seen this great character work out of Finn Balor. It's probably been the best run of his main roster in WWE where we've seen this heel side of him. And I think that it might bring out a darker side. I think we're getting Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. And I think that, well, if we're going to hell, we might as well bring out a demon. I think that the demon Finn Balor beating Edge at WrestleMania, I think is the way to close this off because, well, Edge can already have had his victory over Judgment Day. That can technically close that chapter. The chapter then that will be left is Edge and Finn. And I reckon that's where it's going to lead to.
I like it. I think if I may add one thing as well, it's obviously exactly a year at WrestleMania since the Judgment Day were formed, since Edge brought them in, so to speak. So perhaps they can do something where Edge has to finally try and get rid of them, which it's just one of the things I guess they do. But I like your suggestion, Steve.
I have to see how it will play out there. But yeah, we've given our predictions there. Let's go into the chat. But you know what? The chat is still talking about Sami Zayn. I think we're making a point here.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. And it's one of the reasons I wanted to put it on first because I thought it may reoccur during this. It could be hard to do this stream without talking about Sami to the main event. I think Sami is way too popular for a one and done solo main championship. Do you know what? I agree. If he can get himself to that level, I think that he has definitely got the potential to be a top guy in WWE. This certainly is something we've been used to seeing out of Sami. One thing we didn't actually mention there in the predictions, Sami's got the facials of like a Shawn Michaels. He can tell a superb story in and around matches. And I think that also plays so beautifully into this match as well. Mex, would you agree that Sami Zayn is way too popular to be a one and done solo main champion?
What do you mean by one and done?
I guess win it once and then lose it. I suppose maybe a treatment of someone that perhaps wouldn't hold the championship for very long.
Like Kofi Kingston?
Well, I mean, yeah, because Kofi had it for 6 months. But yeah, one and done. I think that would be a fair representation. Yeah, one and done.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think he's too popular for one. Like, I'm not too sure my understanding of that. But he can be WWE champion or Universal champion in a landscape where there are 2 world titles. Where currently the issue is there is 1 world title. This is where I think for fans right now, it's very easy for us to predict that, you know, who's going to win it, when they're going to win it, because there's only 1 top title. When there is 2, ultimately, if Cody does pick this up and then probably does the noble babyface thing, I'm going to split these titles and create opportunities on SmackDown or whatever the case is, then we're going to really talk about, right, the likes of Drew McIntyre is going to wake up again. Karrion Kross that's moaning that I'm not being treated right, he's going to wake up. Sheamus, who's been fantastic over the last year, is probably in with a shout. The likes of the Samis that they've been building up can then get back involved. Yeah, I'm not sure about one and done. I think there's other ways to do it. I think Sami would be a perfect contender to win a Money in the Bank, which I think someone mentioned, and get to the title that way. I think that will suit him so much better. But yeah, there'll be more opportunity once the titles are split, I reckon, and be more realistic.
Yeah, and I think that's a clever way you've mentioned there, a way that Cody could try and be that noble way, because what better than being a top babyface and saying, I'm giving the it feels like the Shane McMahon era of 2016, doesn't it? Giving the land of opportunity to SmackDown. But Jonesy, what's your take on it?
Sorry, we have to remember that Cody said, I want the WWE title. That's the one my dad didn't win. He's been honest with that, and he's never said, I want anything to do with the blue belt. So could be an easy way for him to get rid of that.
Absolutely. Jonesy, what's your take on that?
I think the thing we've got to remember coming off of this is that Roman's obviously had this 900-day reign now. So whoever is going to beat Roman has to be the one that has some sort of decent reign. Having it for a cup of tea or cup of coffee probably isn't the best idea. So I'd be a fan of Sami getting it, holding it for a while. It's what they do after they get the belt. It's great giving the belt to somebody, but it's a case of what they do next. But at this point, I'd be a fan of like a no contest, really, which leads to the belts being split in some capacity. I'd love to have 2 world titles at WrestleMania. I don't know why we haven't got the start of a tournament, in all honesty, because that would make total sense to get 1 more title. The way that Bloodline have been behaving in terms of interfering after every title defense, stuff like that, I don't know why they haven't picked up on that and done a title tournament, because that would make WrestleMania really interesting, because we'd have 1 new world champion at least.
Absolutely. Well, maybe we'll get that after WrestleMania. Certainly, if Cody does the noble thing rather than being on every show and probably then being overexposed, which I think could be the other fee you could have for Cody later down the line. But Alicia has got a completely different take on this. Thank you, Alicia, for joining the stream. Underdog story has been played out so much. Somebody like Sami Zayn is not believable. Now, personally, for me, I disagree with that. I think we disagree with it to a point that Sami Zayn is not believable, but maybe, as Mex said there, maybe Money in the Bank is probably the best case to do it. But when you've got lightning in the bottle, you struck it so hot here with Sami being so over. This guy, surely, the story must be believable as so many people want it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think there's no issue with what we're getting right now, where he's worked his way up. The story has dictated that he isn't getting his chance because he's, he wanted it. Roman granted him the opportunity on Saturday. And as long as they book things right, he can still be, up there in terms of our opinions. And he just has to, find his way around. Sami Zayn has, outside of all the conspiracy stuff and all of this kind of character stuff, he's always been the lovable babyface. So, honestly, Money in the Bank win, imagine the day he chooses to cash it in, it will be like rapturous, like Dolph Ziggler. When Dolph Ziggler went to cash his in, the crowd would be going absolutely crazy, if not more crazy. There's ways to make the more non-believable people win. After all, Jinder Mahal's held this title, so come on, guys. You see what I mean? So
true story. He's back in the title scene in NXT as well. So yeah, like you say there. I wonder how that will go next week against Braun Breaker. But we're not here to predict that. We're here to predict the Elimination Chamber. And I'll tell you what, this is going to be, the trilogy complete with our next match. It is Bobby Lashley against Brock Lesnar. Of course, Bobby Lashley winning the first one at the Royal Rumble in 2022. Brock Lesnar picking up the victory at Crown Jewel last year after being arguably dominated by Bobby Lashley. And now, obviously, since then, Brock Lesnar cost Bobby Lashley the United States Championship on more than one occasion. Even taking a break in the middle and coming back and costing him again. Then we've then got to the Royal Rumble. Bobby Lashley eliminated Brock in a very quick fashion when Brock was being so dominant. Kind of had a reminiscence of where they were trying to go along with the 2020 Rumble, where Brock was dominating everyone, but they found that one guy earlier, the next entrant, to come in and just say, no, getting you out of here. That was Bobby Lashley. And of course, then what has been probably one of my favorite promos in recent memory that has not involved Sami Zayn or the Bloodline. With Brock going, Bobby who? To the point that we got the image on social media saying with him, Sable, and Bobby Lashley in his head in a bed. I thought that was quite funny going around the socials. But if you've not seen it, just check your Instagram or your Twitter. I'm sure you'll find it. But obviously, we got to the point this week. This is where I'm going to probably throw my opinion out first, guys, if you don't mind. I'm going to get you to react to it, if that's okay. Because I've kind of got a bit of an idea of where I think this could go necessarily, because I find it strange that this is going to be the trilogy match here. Now, obviously, there's been rumors we could get Brock and Gunther at WrestleMania, other perhaps different directions, but I think this isn't finished. I think that this is the start perhaps to a gimmick match at WrestleMania. One could dream of a Lions Den match, MMA style, the fight pit, whatever you want. I don't know if it will quite go down that avenue, but Bobby Lashley came out in the suit this past week on Raw, clearly took the heel role in this. He made a direction of I'm going to be the bad guy. Now, if we've been looking backstage for quite a while, and I mentioned the suit for a reason.
Yeah.
MVP obviously has been trying to get the Hurt Business back together here. And obviously Shelton and Cedric, they seem to be back on the same page. Would Amos be added to the Hurt Business this time round, potentially as the bodyguard? He could be the guy in the background, Jonesy. It's a possibility. You've got to give him something to do, haven't you, bless him? Can't stick him in catering. But at the same time, I do think that perhaps maybe this is going to be the screwy finish of the night.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that unless Bobby wins by shenanigans and the Hurt Business are back together, I see a couple of nodding heads. So, Jonesy, I'll come to you first on it. What's your take on that? Do you think that there's a realistic possibility this could be going down this Saturday?
Yeah, I think you've nailed it, mate. You kind of, I think you took exactly what I was going to say. So, yeah, I think the Hurt Business will form Bobby to get the win. And this is Bobby's heel turn again, the heel turn for the 100th time this year, not this year, sorry, over the last year, shall we say. But I think it'll go to head. And then look for, this is a prediction, look for Brock and Bobby at WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin as a special guest referee. The reason why they're going to do Stone Cold Steve Austin is it's however many years since Bret Hart and Stone Cold had that match, the no holds barred match. So that's what I think they're going to do, if I'm being honest.
Interesting. I like that take there, the special guest referee idea. Mex, what's your take on this then?
So yeah, similar. I was very much of the like, why are they doing this here? Like, I'm grateful enough. I'm going to WrestleMania, so you know, I was even telling my brother that's coming with me that's not really a wrestling fan, but he remembers certain people back in the day. We've been getting ready for Lesnar versus Lashley. When they were doing the contract signing the other day, I called him. I was like, we're getting Lesnar at Mania versus Lashley. He was getting excited. But now he said there was going to be an Elimination Chamber. I was thinking, something doesn't seem up here. Yeah, I don't think this match was happening. That was my first reaction. This match is just going to be, both men will make their entrance. A brawl will ensue. The match never happens. So, yeah, we get something from them, but not an actual match. But, yeah, again, like you said, the Hurt Business have been trying to reform. And that could be an easy way, you know, if the Hurt Business get involved, whether Lashley wants them to or doesn't want them to, and attack Brock Lesnar, that gives Brock Lesnar a DQ win. So, you know, they're counting scores here. I know Lashley counted the elimination of the at the Royal Rumble as one of his scores, so he's up 2-1. This will make it 2-2, I guess, with Lesnar disqualification win, and then we go on to WrestleMania to see who actually is the better man between the two. And again, like we're saying, some type of stick match, maybe Hell in a Cell, maybe some type of street fight or no DQ match, and we go from there.
Absolutely there. Just to say, Jonesy, I've had to rattle my brain when you said that about special guest referee. Battle with the Billionaires, WrestleMania 23. I believe it was Bobby Lashley included in that match as well against Umaga.
That wasn't the one I was thinking, but thank you. That works though.
Maybe you're going with WrestleMania 13? Would it be Bret Hart and then Austin?
Stone Cold with Ken Shamrock as ref. I was kind of thinking that it would be that flashback, really, but thank you for the other one. It works as well.
Well, also, Austin has refereed a Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania, and it was at 20 against Goldberg.
Oh, yeah, that was horrendous. Yeah.
So, there's been some history with it. So I like that prediction. I can see where you're going with it, and there is history with all men involved. So that could be quite fun if it goes down. It could go either way with this, but I'm going to go with the Brock Lesnar DQ. I think makes you make it sound right there with the 2-2 scoreline. And I'm going to be sort of optimistic and say that I'd like to see the Lions Den at WrestleMania, but I think the Fight Pit would probably be the more modern version of it, unless they go simply with a submission style match or just MMA in some form. I don't know what they'll do, but they'll do something with it to make it happen. But should be a lot of fun anyway. But let's go into the comment section and see what we've got. Well, I can tell you what, first off, we've got a Bama in the house. Bama Dave in there. This afternoon, good sirs. Hope you're doing well. Bama's latest episode will be coming out this evening of This or That. It's a great episode, I'm pretty sure, as well, because there are always fun topics he discusses. And it's a Canadian special as well, with Montreal, of course, being this week as well. Very well timed, sir. Thank you very much. Alicia says here that Sami Zayn not believable, treated like a jobber, doesn't have a good win-loss record. You people turn underdog Cody Rhodes, not underdog. Don't like the underdog story. It's paid up too much. Well, Alicia, I know you're a fan of Cody. I've got nothing against Cody being in that position, but I say, why not continue to push both? I do think there is a possibility that Sami can find his way up there. He's got this far. He's got himself in this position. Let's say it play out.
Can I be controversial?
Go for it.
I think they picked the wrong person to win the Royal Rumble. I think Sami Zayn should have won the Royal Rumble. 100%. Like, I think Cody, yeah, it's fine. It's a great story. I get the whole heritage and history, but if Sami Zayn was the Royal Rumble winner, the drama that could have caused, I know we've had a lot of drama since, it would have been more magical for me personally, despite the fantastic promos we've seen recently.
I think with if they'd done something like Sami winning the Rumble and then at first being like, oh yeah, this is all a big ruse, I'm gonna protect
you,
Roman Reigns, so I'm not gonna think, and then eventually he turns, it's like no, like he listens to Kevin Owens and Kevin's like, this is your big chance sort of thing, and he goes on and has a match at WrestleMania. I think that could have been good also, a bit reminiscent of, you know, Batista winning the Rumble and Evolution being so excited and thumbs up, thumbs down, all that business. Yeah. So that could have been one way to do it, but it's kind of just been told to us from such a long time ago. Basically, like this was always Cody's spot, wasn't it? So
I think we're just unfortunate. We've got two really credible challengers for a world title at the same time, which has been kind of rare. We haven't seen that for quite a long time, to be fair.
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing, to try and take advantage of it with both of them. It feels like Cody's story should be told at WrestleMania. It feels like a WrestleMania thing with Dusty as well, the history, the lineage. This place here is Sami's WrestleMania. It's the hometown of Montreal, isn't it? So it couldn't be done at any better place.
Does that heritage, though, give away a spoiler of who the winner is? Because to me, if Cody doesn't get the job done, it's going to totally utterly shit on the whole point of the story, surely.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, sometimes it can create a further story. It's going to be. We'll have to wait and see. At the moment, I have my feeling that Cody has got a chance. Let's put it that way. But
more of a chance than Drew.
Yes, I'm going to say yes. I think that the only thing that would stop it, and this is genuinely the only thing I think that stops it, Roman has hit 900 days today as. The Universal. He's only 100 days away from the Universal. I believe it's May 28th when I did a Google on this to try and work out when it's going to be. So yeah, that's how long it is away from Roman to get to 1,000 days. So I mean, there's a possibility, but yeah, Cody's within a shout as well. But we've got a few comments here with ourselves with the Hurt Business. So let's see what they've got to say quickly. Noob says if the Hurt Business is returning, then Lashley's winning. If not, then Brock is winning. Thank you, Noob, for that. And certainly, if it doesn't happen, perhaps maybe we will get the trilogy finished. We've gone straight in there saying screwy finish. Just out of interest, guys, if there is no Hurt Business such thing, and this is the trilogy, it's just this is it and it's done. Max, I'll start with you. Just quickly name who is winning.
If this is it and it's done, I'm gonna be very disappointed, because even then, going on to Mania, what are both of these guys doing? In that case, if this is it and it's done, I would like to think Lashley wins, because Lashley is the guy that's around all the time, and Lesnar is, pops his head in when he has a feud or whatever. But if this is it, I'm going to be disappointed. I can't lie to you.
Jonesy, if this is it, if this is literally, there's no more of this after this, who's taking it quickly?
My heart says Bobby needs to win because he's there all year round, as Matt said, but I think Lesnar. I don't trust him to do Lesnar dirty, to be honest. I think Lesnar, unfortunately, will get the job done.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Lashley just because
I don't know. Right. I
don't know. It's just the same, like you said. My head teaches it and says, "Look, it's got to be the guy that's there all the time."
Can we at least get Lesnar and Gunther out of this? At least, like, sort of, that would be a bit of a softener, so to speak.
I don't know. I think especially because this Intercontinental title, I'm not sure if I want to see Lesnar go after the Intercontinental
title.
Take
out the belt out of it. Take the belt out of it. Just have it as a match rather than just.
It looks like that it's going to be like at WrestleMania. That is Gunther, Drew, and Sheamus for the IC title, which I think is amazing.
That'd be fantastic.
Amazing.
That'd be really good.
It's a way to get Gunther to lose the title without being pinned either, which would be very clever to do because Gunther's not been pinned since going on to SmackDown. And we mentioned about guys that could be, if there's two world titles around, Gunther is a guy that this year I think has got potential to get there. And you mentioned about a Lesnar match. I don't think it's in the too distant future, Jonesy. I think within the next 12 months, you're definitely going to get that match. They teased it at the Rumble. I think it's definitely going to come at some point. Bama says Brock wins by DQ because of the Hurt Business as well there. We've got KXI saying, I see this ending via DQ. And then we've got a hot take because we're going back to Sami Zayn. Of course, we're going back to Sami Zayn. Bama says, hot take, Sami's test has not happened yet. What if he's still on the inside and all of this is to gain Cody's trust until Mania where Sami screws Cody over?
That's too clever. It's far too clever. It's good. It's really, really good. I love that type of thinking, but I don't trust nobody to do that. Really.
If that is the case, this is the best story in wrestling ever. Like, full stop. But
move over Mega Powers, move over Austin McMahon. This would be the one, wouldn't it? This would be the greatest of all time if that happened.
Yeah, I don't know where you go next though. It's that good. I don't know where you go next with Roman after that. I don't know, sort of, but incredible.
It would be incredible there. And KXI also making reference there to the Hurt Business. And Elisa, why are we on the Sami bandwagon? Fans are way off Cody Rhodes. Well, we like Sami Zayn, but we also like Cody as well. We're giving love to both.
I don't know. Sami moves ratings. Cody doesn't. That's factually as well. If you look at the ratings, Sami on SmackDown this week with Jay, them two largely drew the biggest rating they've had in ages.
Interesting. Well, there you go. Obviously, with the YouTube numbers, social numbers, Sami deserves his spot. Cody
this guy's gone from battling a giant hand last year at WrestleMania to now, like, nearly one of the biggest wins in the company. How can you not give credit to that?
You have to. Sami's position from then to now is unbelievable. There's just
it's all conspiracy though. At the end of it,
Absolutely, absolutely. And Jumbo, thank you, Jumbo, for your comments. Says, I know 100% Asuka will win the Elimination Chamber and will beat Bianca Belair. Well,
I hope someone does.
interesting. It'd be interesting to see as
It's
well.
been a
She's
while.
been doing it for a long time.
Much
But
longer, yeah.
Jumbo, you're a master of timing, my friend. Thank you for bringing it up because our next match is the Women's Elimination Chamber match. That's right. We're going to be talking about, we've got Carmella, we've got Nikki Cross, we've got Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka, Liv Morgan, and of course, Canada's own, I'm going to say Canadia's own there, Natalya, going to be in this lineup there. So we've got 6 women there. I think realistically, we've only got, well, I actually think we've got 1 winner, but I think 3 of those names have a chance of doing something. I think we can rule a couple of names out early. I'm going to start with one of them. I'm going to roll out, guys. We'll just go around the circle with all the names and give our prediction. Nikki Cross, I feel that this is Triple H's vision of going, she's crazy, she'll look a bit weird in the pod, and that's why we're going to put her there, but she won't do anything notable in the match.
No.
Next.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, correcto. Point for you.
There we go. We didn't even elaborate on it. That's how much we're confident on that. Carmella, it's great to have her back, but I think her versus Bianca's been way overdone, and I don't see it happening at WrestleMania, even though I think she does have a spot on a WrestleMania card potentially. I just don't see it via her versus Bianca Belair, Jonesy.
No, I don't see it. I think she's just there to make up numbers, to be honest.
Yeah, agreed. Mex?
The wrong person they chose to make up numbers. Like, she just came back out of nothing. They've stuck her in this. Chelsea Green, who has been here, why am I not getting this? Why am I not getting that? Why am I not getting this kind of match or being put in? Adam Pearce should have turned around to her and be like, you want a match? You're in the Elimination Chamber against, these other 5 terrifying women. There you go. Like, I think that would have been a better spot. Like, I don't like the way Carmella just kind of waltzed into this to not do anything. So, yeah, I agree with you guys.
That's fair. It's good to say quickly, Chelsea Green has been phenomenal.
Karen, as she's known as.
Karen Green.
Yeah, she's been amazing. I
did hear a funny story on they pitched that they want to do Vince McMahon's whole allegations, all this other stuff, like women blaming Vince. They want to do that with Adam and Chelsea. That's kind of route they're going down, apparently.
Oh, dear. Oh, that's a WrestleMania
As a slight
moment.
dig to everybody that's sued him recently.
Absolutely, that would be hilarious. I will say one thing though, positive though. Carmella, obviously, she's gone through a lot last year. It's good to see her back though, regardless. So absolutely, but I do agree. Maybe this wasn't the right spot here. But the other name, obviously, Natalya. I've said this earlier. Hometown girl. There to make up the numbers. She's probably a good in-ring general. She's got the experience. Probably will be we've seen when we talk about ladder matches in the past, Christian was like the person that would give a lot of the ideas, probably be the sort of like captain of the match. Speaking of captain charisma. But at the same time, Natalya could perhaps have that role here, but she's not winning.
No, she's there to make up numbers, as we said earlier. I think she's just to get the Canadian hype, probably the crowd in, maybe behind somebody. I'd much rather see a Becky Lynch or Bayley in this spot, to be honest.
Yes, and of course, both of them had the chance to get in this chamber and it didn't happen. Mex, would you agree with that? And then we'll go on to the other 3 ladies.
Yeah, you're definitely right. Canadian pop, and like you said, it's probably to be the one to orchestrate what's happening within the chamber as the most experienced of them all. So, yeah, bang on.
Okay, there we go then. Well, let's then go then with what I think the 3 names that have a chance, but I'm going to leave my prediction till last. So there you get the idea then of where I'm going. And then if you have one of these ladies beforehand, then tell me it's your prediction. Mex, I'll start with you. Raquel Rodriguez, I think that she definitely is someone that's got a chance to be a dominant force in the chamber. Almost like Braun Strowman was back in 2018, but I don't think she's going to quite make it. I see her finishing 3rd in this chamber structure, although I think her versus Bianca would have been a fun match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I just don't think she seems to be a bit of a sentimental favorite just from the IWC, but I think she's experienced, but her and Bianca together are still, there's an element of inexperience between the 2 of them, especially on a stage like WrestleMania for a title. I think this has probably come a year early for Raquel. If this was like in a year's time, I'll probably say, yeah, she's probably a hot favorite if the level of her booking continued, because she has been booked very well. Beyond being the sentimental favorite, and it'll be kind of fun to see her win and stuff like that, I just think it's too early. It's not yet.
I think you bang on the money that being year 2. If she was a monster heel and it was a year from now, I'd say definitely 100% she could be one of the favorites, if not the favorite to win it. But I agree with everything you say there. Jonesy, what's your feelings with Raquel Rodriguez in this match?
I think she's there as a close contender. She's going to probably not get the job done quite. For me, she's being safe for later in the year where she'll face Rhea Ripley. I think that's a feud they're going to build that will come to light soon. But for me, I think babyface versus babyface doesn't strike me as a match at WrestleMania, to be honest. For the world title, women's world title, sorry.
Well, two of them currently are listed as babyfaces that we've got left, but obviously I think you may have been alluding what maybe your choice would be changing very shortly. But I'm going to start off then with the one I think isn't going to win. So literally, guys, you're getting my prediction being by me not saying the name, but I'm going to do it in that order anyway. Liv Morgan's the next one I'm going to talk about, because Liv Morgan, for me, she went into the Royal Rumble. She went the whole distance at number 2. She was the last one eliminated for the match as well. I just feel like for a redemption story would be amazing to see at WrestleMania. Again, as Mex would say before, a sentimental favorite with the IWC. Not going to lie, sentimental favorite of mine as well. I'd like to see her get back in that position. Just don't think the timing's right on this one, although Bianca versus Liv would be fresh. But I see her starting this match and finishing runner-up. I think it's going to be a case again of being a close call. Jonesy.
Yeah, for me, I think they've done a great job of trying to rebuild her following her last title run last year, which didn't really work. And for me, I just don't think she's going to get another crack for a while. I think she's had her chance. And for me, I just don't see her as credible, unfortunately. Like, I think her run was tepid, so to speak, a little bit. But I think she's just there as a third place for me. I think she's behind sort of Raquel in the chances, if that makes sense.
Interesting. Max?
I remember coming on here like maybe a year ago and we were talking about Liv Morgan in whatever match or whatever she was involved in. And I said, like, I don't get it. Like, I think she tries hard, but she's not there yet. And she has obviously come a long way since then. I still don't know what it is. I just feel like something's missing. Like, I don't know. Like, she's definitely improved in ring. The character is taking a turn to be a bit, I call it Jeff Hardy-esque, with just kind of being a bit of a daredevil and stuff. I just don't know what she's missing. Maybe it's just the timing. Wrestling's all about timing, and obviously the people on top now are just too strong, and she just has to wait for that window of opportunity again. But like you said, they'll book her strong like they did in a Rumble. She probably is the last person to be eliminated within this match. Close but no cigars, they say. I just don't know what it's going to take to get Liv back there, you know, organically, rather than the forced push that, you know, some may argue she had around the Money in the Bank last year. But yeah, it won't be Liv, I don't think either. But yeah, close contender.
I think then we're all going to agree then as we go around the table one more time then, because there's only one name left and no one's objected so far. It's Asuka. Of course, she's come back at the Royal Rumble. She's got these Kana vibes, which I've never seen anything like before, but I must admit, I popped big time when the face paint was there. She looked freaky. She looked something very different. She looked refreshed as well. The in-ring style just, again, felt like it was just on point, 100%. Every move was connecting beautifully in the Rumble. Since then, I think the match with Chelsea Green was booked a bit arse backwards, personally, in my opinion. But apart from that, she was dominant this Monday on Raw. Usually the one going into the show strong doesn't usually come out the show the winner, but I don't see anything different here. She destroyed all 5 women on Raw this past week. I think she's going to do it in the chamber. I think we're getting that Asuka build 2.0 of like what she was like in NXT and when she first came to the main roster. I think she's going to win this match. Jonesy, you alluded to a heel turn. I think that's on as well. I think an Asuka in this format as a heel, I think, is money. I think you're printing money doing that. And I think, honestly, I can see her actually beating Bianca Belair at WrestleMania at this point. Jonesy, what's your thoughts then with Asuka then? Obviously, clearly will be your prediction as well.
Yeah, Asuka's prediction. I think they've done a fantastic job since the Royal Rumble with her comeback. She's had lots of comebacks that haven't worked. This one does feel natural to me. It feels like she's much more comfortable as a heel. We've seen the start of Kana. Let's go full-fledged Kana. Let's go to that next level. If you are going to have her against Bianca Belair, she can't be the smiling Asuka that's just all high fives to the crowd. She needs to be really callous and evil, and I think this is the route to do it. And whoever does, and if she does get to WrestleMania, it would be a real shame she does what Bayley and loads of other people have done by not beating Bianca Belair. This is the point really for the belt to change. So Asuka to win. Look for a really dominant performance. I think it'll be very similar to Shayna Baszler in the Elimination Chamber, where she goes for everybody. I think she'll take out 2 or 3 people at least on her own in this match.
Interesting. You could be in a good point there. You know, Shayna took out the whole field, and Asuka definitely has got that potential here. Mex, what's your thoughts then with Asuka? Obviously, probably your pick as well then.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how they need to book her. That's exactly it. That Shayna Baszler booking of, was it 2020? She needs to come in last if they want to put, you know, have her come out the chamber last, and she needs to beat everybody, pin every single person in there. And you know, I've said along the road, as much as I'm a fan of Bianca Belair and how excellent she is, she's been this character, this iteration of a character since she was in SmackDown and won the women's title there and then lost it, then came to Raw, won the women's title. I want to see some change. Like, if this version of Asuka is not enough to scare you and make you double, you know, think about yourself and all of that kind of stuff, then they've done something wrong. She can't just be walking in here. And even if the change isn't necessarily fear, because they want to portray she's big and strong, it's more annoyance. Like maybe, Belair's just having regular matches and Asuka appears and sprays her with mist, and it's kind of like taunting her. And, she proper can't wait to get her hands on her at WrestleMania. Something needs to happen, because a lot of people are saying it, it's becoming John Cena-esque. John Cena wins, lol. And, we move on. So, yeah, Bianca Belair needs. I don't know how we'll get there eventually, the WrestleMania, and who should come out on top. But this has to be Asuka if they want her reboot to mean anything. And then from there, they really need to book her as like a terrorizing people on the roster, so that the champion looks like, oh my god, what have I got myself into?
Yeah, I think you're right there, Max. There, and like you said there, I mean, I'm a big fan of Bianca, by the way. I think she's been incredible on her run, and she's proven with every challenge and every match she looks like a star. She's now become that recognizable name. She's arguably, along with Becky Lynch, along with Charlotte Flair, she's one of the first names you think of now in that women's division, like of all of WWE. She's done an outstanding job. It just feels like, for me, the time is right for her to do, like you said, something needs to change just a little bit, just to freshen it up, whether it's a tweak of a storyline with where she doesn't got to go heel necessarily, but a change of direction for her. Maybe she loses the championship, got to win it back again, or heel turn. Just something needs to happen. But Asuka, like you said, if you want it to mean anything, this is something here where you've got to build that character up. You, as Jones said, you got to perhaps make that heel turn happen, and then probably you got to follow the job through. That's probably the best way to go through it. Jonesy, anything to add before we go to the chat?
Do we think that they should have gone down the route of putting her with Uncle Howdy? That's kind of that supernatural. That's kind of the route I thought they would have done, to be fair. I know that he's obviously involved in Alexa, but if you want to really get to that supernatural side, this is kind of the route to go down. I think ultimately it's just sort of how they do it. So I think if Asuka is coming back and she's sort of smiling and sort of giving everyone sort of high fives and friendly and stuff, for me, it doesn't work. So for me, I think this is the point really for her to come as a heel, as we said earlier. Bianca has had a fantastic reign. She's had some fantastic matches from an in-ring perspective. It's fine. I just think it's, I want to see something new. We've got this trouble in WWE with a lot of the champions now. Gunther, Roman, Usos, it's the same champions and they have the belts for months. There's nothing wrong with long title reigns, but give me some change. I like variety a little bit sometimes.
I understand that. There's actually a couple of questions I actually want to ask before we go to Jack quickly, just because the numbers element is fun of this match as well. So quickly, who do we think is going to be the first two people starting the Chamber Mex?
First two people, I would say maybe Raquel and let's say Raquel and Natalya.
Interesting. Good choices there. Jonesy.
I'm going to go Natalya and Raquel. I think Nikki's going to be in the cage doing what she did at sort of Survivor Series, pacing around like a lunatic, basically. Probably like that, basically. A little bit.
I agree with you. I think that Raquel and Liv are going to kick off the match. That's going to be my take on it there. And I think then they'll probably build it there with the others coming in. But then who comes in at number 6 then, just to finish off, Mex?
The last person, maybe Carmella. Or it'll be maybe Asuka actually, but yeah, I think Carmella might have sell the whole, this place is carnage, I don't want to kind of come in sort of thing, and then her pod opens and she just gets dragged out into the fray. So yeah, I like that a lot. Jonesy.
I go Asuka. It depends. If you want to build Asuka up and have her dominant loads of people, there's loads of people still in the match, fine. But if you want Asuka just to come in and get the job done quickly, then Asuka last, really.
I think Asuka would get quite a big pop from the crowd to have her in coming last. But I like the idea there of perhaps maybe Carmella not wanting to come out of there, especially if Asuka's just waiting there as well with a big smile.
Could I have one other thing? Sorry, this is sort of while it's on top of my head. So, you've got Nikki Cross being crazy and we want Asuka to be crazy. This is the point where you want Nikki Cross to be doing a fit and Asuka's fit has to be 10 times what Nikki's doing. Does that make sense? Like, you've got Nikki sort of like headbutting or doing whatever she does. And
who's more mad?
And then who's even more mad? I just think that would work really well. It'd be really good to see as well.
That could be really fun, especially if they're like just staring at each other the whole way through.
Or you could have Asuka doing a promos and Nikki like, what are you saying? And then Nikki, I don't understand. And then whatever they want to do, basically. I think.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
It would be fun. Sorry.
It would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun indeed there. Our chat is blowing up, guys, so we're going to breeze through it as best as we can. Bama says, I know Asuka is the obvious choice, but I think it would be cool to pick Liv Morgan here. Bianca has been slowly becoming more arrogant and over the top, so I'd embrace her in a heel EST character and get the heat on Liv building to WrestleMania. Now, that could be an interesting. You said that we said something about something different, something fun. Yeah, then Asuka, like we said, not the obvious choice, but certainly it could be a fun match, Liv versus Bianca, couldn't it, Mex?
Yeah, definitely. I think even with what you said, the heel aspect, like the EST whole thing, it's actually an arrogant thing. I'm the strongest. I'm the big. Who do you think you are? About you're the strongest. You see what I mean? It can easily be turned to an arrogant situation, an overconfidence, if you like, and then Liv is already that kind of baby face that people will get behind. Like, no, shut up and put her in her place. You see what I mean? So, yeah, that could definitely work.
I always said, I think I said to you before, Steve, I could always see Bianca Belair as a heel, as a Mr. Perfect, if that makes sense. Like, that's what I'd love to see her pull that off. And I think she's got the charisma as a heel turn. That'll give her such a new way of life as well. Like, it would further extend her run, so to speak. Something different.
Absolutely. And I mean, to be fair, obviously, we mentioned about heel turns. I mean, obviously, we're going to talk about the men's chamber in a moment. Obviously, Montez Ford is something I think could be quite interesting as a heel as well. Maybe they could have a couple's dynamic.
Heel
maybe
power couple.
Exactly. It could be a lot of fun to see. Jumbo says Asuka's new look basically tells us she's going to win. Eric says, I love Liv, but my prediction for the chamber has to be Asuka. Men's, I'm going wild. I'm going to go Priest. Interesting one there. Sorry about the cough here coming on, guys. Agree, but Asuka. Disagree with Priest. Then we've got people basically going there. Noob & Co. I got Asuka because 2023 is a redemption
it's
story.
for Noob. I know he's the biggest Asuka fan ever. He's doing it all last year.
Well, it's literally Mex. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, they definitely need to, again, we're talking about creating new stars in this division. It's the same people that have been on top before, but it's kind of rebooting them and refreshing them and giving them a new lease on life. And with Asuka, this is a great opportunity to make the Elimination Chamber mean something, make her mean something if she goes on to actually become Raw Women's Champion as well. So, yeah.
I agree with that. 100%. I totally agree with that. Eric, good, great question here. Where does Liv live? Is she? I say she wins the Rumble. And perhaps next year she could do. That would be a good time to build her around to get to that position. Same with Raquel as well. We're talking about timing there. Liv, of course, seems to be synonymous with Money in the Bank. But as for WrestleMania, probably the women's tag team titles would make the most sense. If Raquel and Liv don't win here, I could see them becoming a team, being added into a multi-team women's tag team championship match at WrestleMania. Because the rumors going around the damage control against Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Sorry, guys, it's a bit too flat for me. Too many heels in that match for my liking. I need a bit of baby faces just to spice that up. I think Liv and Raquel would be the perfect ingredient to add to it. Mex, how would you feel? Where does Liv go next?
I mean, I don't even know if they still do this, but maybe the women's battle royal, get the win in the WrestleMania battle royal. That could be a choice. The thing is, outside of what looks like it's probably going to be Bayley versus Becky, then the 2 championship matches for the women, and then the tag team championships. Are we really going to get anything else for women on the card? This is where it would have been good if they made Money in the Bank return to WrestleMania. Then there's an opportunity to give 6 women something to do there. Other than that, yeah, like you said, it's her and Raquel in the tag team scene at WrestleMania, or the women's battle royal thing, which she would definitely be a contender to win that if they done that.
Absolutely. Jonesy.
To be honest, to the mid card, like I think she'll just literally be another name. I think with WrestleMania, in all honesty, look for Becky to be with Trish and Lita. I think that against Damage Control, that seems to me to be an obvious match for them to do, which they would have probably done the build of that already a little bit. But that's what they do. But in terms of Liv Morgan, it would be good for her to get something back a little bit. But there's far bigger fish, unfortunately, in WWE than Liv Morgan. I'm not really a massive fan of the underdog story, so to speak, with her.
No, with the Sami one, yes, because I know Alyssa's still watching. But
Sami one, yeah, definitely. Right.
not every underdog story.
No,
I'm a sucker for an underdog story, and
can I just say this? When Liv did lose the belt and she started going a bit crazy, and we thought she was going to be Uncle Howdy type. I was getting into that quite a bit when she was talking in the crowd doing this other stuff. But she's had so many on and off turns, if that makes respect, where we think she's going to go a hill, and that would really work. Gives us something new. I don't really know what to make of Liv. Like, I just don't really sort of know where to go. I know her last run, seeing her in Cardiff at Clash of Castle, I wasn't impressed, to be fair. But that's only one match live. I can take that.
This is exactly what I mean. I can see like she's improved, and I can see there's something there. And to be fair, at Clash of the Castle, I was actually quite upset the amount of people I saw walking around, going to the toilet, going to get drinks when Shayna and Liv was on. I think it's super disrespectful. Like, people will shout online for women's wrestling, and then they get it, and then
they were coming off of Gunther and Sheamus, which is the greatest match I've probably ever seen. One of the greatest matches I've ever seen.
I know. But yeah, with Liv, I just think they're almost there with her, but I don't know what it is that's missing. And I don't know if you can identify it, Steve, being a Liv fan, if what you think they could do more to kind of just get her there?
I think the thing is, when you look last year, I'll take this comment off for the moment because we can bring it back up in a second. But I feel with Liv last year when we got to Money in the Bank, that showed what I'd seen in Liv Morgan was the dedication, the passion, someone that wanted to get to the top. Had what I thought was a really good program with Becky Lynch at the turn of that year. Obviously, my time of seeing her live was at the Survivor Series, and I thought she had a good showing in that match as well. She was on the winning team, but was eliminated in that Raw Survivor Series match at the time. But so like you said, they're going on with Clash of the Castle when you guys saw her live. Yes, she was unfortunate, but the match placement I think was really not the best. I think everyone kind of knew as well. Like as much as we wanted to see the improved Shayna Baszler, I don't think anyone believed that Shayna was winning that match. So I think that didn't help that either. And because of what happened with Ronda Rousey at the time, I just don't think that helped. I think it hurt the reign a lot, and I think it hurt a lot of fandom. A lot of fandom turned on Liv at that point. Since we've seen the change, like I said, the Daredevil-esque, it's something different. It's something, I suppose, for Liv Morgan to do. I think in some spots I've kind of thought, yeah, that works. A couple of other areas, no, that doesn't. I thought the Royal Rumble was a great way to bring her back in because she went the whole distance along with Rhea Ripley, and everyone says how great Rhea did. Liv was in there the same amount of time of the match, unless you take 1 second off to be eliminated.
You forget that.
And the thing is, now she comes in the chamber. If you give her a good performance here, I suppose the mic work probably needs a bit of improvement, if I'm honest. I don't know if a mouthpiece would be helpful. I don't know if the tag team partner is what she probably could do with at this point, just till they're ready. Because I think what you said, Mex, is the real problem is the space for that opportunity. There's only so many championships you can go for. There's only so many top spots. And we've still got 3 of the 4 horsewomen in WWE. Obviously, anyone interested in Mercedes Moné, I've done my Battle of the Valley predictions and stuff like that. You can check them on another video. But you've got 3 of the 4 horsewomen. We now talk about Bianca Belair being one of the top stars there. There are other rising stars at the same time. The women's division, let's be fair, no, it's never been better. I mean, you look even down to NXT, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Tiffany Stratton. I mean, the future's bright. Sol Ruka. There's so much great talent down there waiting to come in the mix as well. It's finding that opportunity and making yourself stand out as the top person. She's got something going for her, Liv Morgan, but at the moment, why I think you guys don't see it is because I think she doesn't have that thing that makes her stand out to be the top one. When she was a SmackDown Women's Champion, she did feel like the second champion, let's be fair, in WWE. But at the same time, she didn't have, she needs to be built up to Ronda Rousey, I think was the other thing that harmed it. She never looked believable in that position. She came from mid-card to champion, going against someone then was champion, right championship level. She should have gone through the Shotzi's, the Xylees to get herself to that position. Sorry, Jonesy, you go over.
No, sorry. Can I just to say, let's not forget when she was world champion, most of her reign was getting cheap wins and running away and crying all the time. That's kind of for me that didn't work. That's still at the back of my mind. Do you remember a match where she was getting these cheap sort of pinfalls and stuff like that, fluking away to victories, and then obviously like almost crying, like acting like she's been shot when it's a kick. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. But being brutally honest, that's just my opinion of her. Like, I just think you've got to build a strong if you can do that again, really.
I wouldn't be against them giving her the Money in the Bank again this year. Yeah. And God willing, with Triple H in charge, it's not just the women have to cash in on the night. They actually build a story with Liv, give her wins. And because, like I say, she's like, if I'm thinking of like a game kind of loading bar, she's like 70% there, in my opinion. I'm not down on her at all. I just don't know what that remaining 30% is that's going to really make her in the same ilk as, you know, the people that we could say that are coming through. That Rhea Ripley will go past her. Asuka now will go past her. Roxanne Perez, that you could almost say fills that underdog position. You know, once she's done in NXT, you can already see they have high hopes for Roxanne Perez. And the same kind of underdog thing. She might go past Liv as well if Liv isn't handled properly from this stage, and that would be a real shame. So I think there's no one else that they could kind of give the Money in the Bank to. Raquel Gonzalez or Rodriguez, or Liv, really, in my opinion. Those are the really
Would you go to Bailey or Bianca? Are they just too obvious? Or
Bailey would be fantastic with it as a heel.
Not sort of Bianca, just Bailey or Becky was what I was meant to say. Sorry, there you go.
I think Bailey as a heel with it would be great, but it's not necessary because this is almost used, as we've said, to kind of crown the next person, to get the next person there, rather than someone that could easily just get there. So yeah, Rodriguez or Liv Morgan would be my choice to give it again to this year.
They are the next in line for that position. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Of course, if Chelsea Green or Karen, whatever they want to go with over there, if she gives someone who could be quite fun with that as well, if she got that opportunity. But we'll go on now because our chat is going mental. And guys, I know that you're short for time. Mex actually is going to be hosting the Rest Things Elimination Chamber prediction show, and that's actually in 45 minutes from now. So we need to get through our main event as well, guys. So West Coast Podcast, thank you for joining us, guys, in the stream. Bianca's been brilliant champ outside the WWE2, great representative, highly agree, but it's time for a change, and Bianca can chase with attitude, not a full heel. There we go. That could be a fun way to do it. Nubico saying Asuka is the final participant. For first two, we've got Natty and Liv as the predictions there. Natty gets the last entrance since as it's Canada. Bama, that makes a lot of sense. Eric saying if Asuka wins, WWE will have no face champions, but maybe they may get a face champion or two after WrestleMania. We've been talking about Cody a bit in this stream as well, even though we've been giving a lot of love to Sami Zayn. Jumbo, I swear if Asuka doesn't win, WWE screwed. Wouldn't go that far. And Liv is Jeff Hardy with a Harley Quinn edge. She just needs to name it like Lights Out, Liv Morgan. So watch her. I think that's something that could definitely tweak it a little bit. It's creative indeed. I like that, Bammer, a lot there. Tino, what's up, guys? What's up, Tino? I think that's what we need to say. What's up, It's Tino's time, Tino? Ladies and gentlemen. And I'll be on Tino's channel this weekend for a watch-along for WrestleMania 2000 on Sunday. So make sure to subscribe to his channel, and you can watch us talk about WrestleMania 2000 in quite a bit of depth. Jumbo says Liv Morgan should turn heel into Harley Quinn. Certainly wouldn't be against that. Also, do we think that we'll get to see a swerve in any match this weekend? Well, Tina, we did speak about potentially the Hurt Business reforming at some point this week. I think that would be considered a big swerve on there. Yeah, I mean, you guys have kind of seen all my predictions up to this point. I've got one more swerve up my sleeve if you can stick around to the end of the video. Eric says that Liv Morgan is the number 2 babyface on SmackDown. And Bam says, yes, a swerve in the Sami Roman match. In fact, I think there'll be a couple of swerves. In fact, one other question, I don't think I remember asking this. I will ask it quickly. It's a yes or no, Jonesy. Does Sami come back to his old theme music? In Canada, it would be perfect.
No. Although that would be fantastic. I love his old theme.
Absolutely, Mex.
I'm going to say yes, even though I know it's probably a no, but I'll say yes because it'll be great.
Why did WWE always do this to me, though? They did it with Drew Broken Dreams and like Sami's old music. They just build the crowd up, didn't they, to euphoria, not to pay it off, really.
Absolutely. See, I'm going heart over head. I'm going with a yes.
I didn't even think about the theme music. That's a great shout.
I have to wait and see if it will happen. But yeah, and Tina says, true, we need to see the Hurt Business back ASAP. Absolutely. It's been 2 years now since we've had the Hurt Business.
Wow.
It'd be good.
2 years. Where's that gone? Oh, my God.
And we've had a pandemic during that time as well.
Oh
Absolutely
God,
mental. But one thing we will be talking about now to finish this off, because guys, I know you're good for not great for all the time in the world. So let's talk about the men's elimination chamber match. That's right. We've got the United States Championship on the line. Austin Theory defending against Seth Freakin Rollins. Damian Priest, who's been popular in our chat already. Bronson Reed, Johnny Gargano, and Montez Ford. And I've got to say quickly, WWE, get that render on your web page. Honestly, they're well outdated, the one you got on Montez Ford. We need that updated big time. But that's my rant over there. I think what we can do is we can do the same thing what we did with the last one. We'll go through each name and we'll go over prediction. I will go with my prediction as the final name. If your prediction comes up in between that, I think then just go out and say, this is my prediction, and then we can go on to why. So first name I'm going to talk about was popular in the chat. Let's talk about Damian Priest, member of Judgment Day, former United States champion. I think as well has been a very good United States champion in the past, but I think that under the Judgment Day, I think he's got other plans set for WrestleMania, whether it's being Dominic Mysterio's corner or perhaps even as a tag team. They've flirted with the idea of him and Dom as a tag team. And the reason I said it is I think it could be Ray and Bad Bunny at the other side of the ring. But Jonesy, I'm going to start with your take on Damian Priest. I think that he is there, unfortunately, to fill up the numbers, but I'm glad he's back in the US title picture.
I'd like to see him win, but no, he's not going to win. I think he's there to make up numbers. And yeah, look for him to make some sort of presence. I expect some big moves from him, but no, I don't see him winning, unfortunately.
Next.
There to make up numbers, but a fantastic person to put in there to make up numbers. He's been great when he was US champion. In recent times, in the last 2 months and stuff, he's been very, very good as well. So, yeah, I'm happy to see him. And it's good. WWE are basically using this as an opportunity again to build some new stars up. So happy to see him there. But no win for him.
No. Building new stars. I'll do this one earlier then. He's not my pick to win, but I certainly think he's an outside choice to win. Montez Ford, he's in this as a single star without Angelo Dawkins. It feels like WWE is really testing the waters here to see could Montez Ford be a star on his own going forward. Obviously, Angelo Dawkins has really improved in the ring as well. A lot of praise backstage. We're not discounting him to anyone that's watching this, but Montez Ford, I don't think he's going to win, but I think he's going to surprise a lot of people in this chamber and have some real standout moments. I wouldn't be surprised to see a frog splash off the top of the pod. Mex, where do you stand with Montez Ford in this match?
That's it. It's literally them saying to him, well, we're not saying this is going to be you being a single star, but breakout moment potential, show us what you can do. They gave him that opportunity against Roman last year, I think it was, if you guys remember that. And he put on a good performance, good showing. Again, don't expect him to win. Would be very interesting if he won, and then how the dynamics of the Street Profits would be. But I think this is just to him to kind of be in there, a couple high spots, and just give a good account of himself.
Absolutely. Jonesy.
Yeah, for me, I think he's going to have a good showing. He's not going to be the winner. As you said, testing ground. This potentially could lead to a WrestleMania match, singles match, if they want to start that sort of ball rolling, so to speak. But for me, I think he's just going to be there to show what he can do, but he's not winning this match.
Quick question. Does it lead to friction with the Street Profits where we could get Montez Ford versus Angelo Dawkins, Mex?
Sorry, what was that?
Could we get to a situation where this could start friction amongst the Street Profits again? We had it in the summer last year. The fact now that Montez gets a breakout moment, could there be jealousy, dissension, or Montez perhaps getting to the point, I'm now the better one of this team? Could we get a singles match? We've seen the Hardys at WrestleMania 25 go against each other. We've seen brothers of Brett and Owen kick off WrestleMania. Could we see Montez Ford versus Angelo Dawkins in Hollywood?
Oh, I don't know. I think that you never know, you never know. But I think that could be a step too far. Now that you think about it, I'm thinking, what else could they do there? Because there's nothing really else for them to do, if not. But there was an interesting promo maybe about a week or two ago. I think it was after Montez qualified. I don't know if you saw it. It was one of these WWE digital specials or whatever. Okay. Montez was basically teasing Angelo Dawkins that, I qualified, and he was singing at him, and for the entire promo, Dawkins didn't say a word. He just was looking at Montez as he was getting teased. They eventually kind of made up and done a little handshake thing, but it could be the seeds being planted for a possible split or whatever the case may be. Whether they get a one-on-one match at Mania, I can't see it, but wouldn't be against it.
I haven't seen that digital exclusive, but it'd be quite interesting. Jonesy.
Yeah, for me, I think, probably going to get a WrestleMania match out of this. I think they've got to fill the card. It's 2 nights. This is the perfect place to start that. Jealousy is an easy way to do it. And particularly if you're going to have the tag team titles doing something else, you want to get Street Profits on there because they're fantastic. So it's something new. It gives them a new way of life as singles. I think I'd like to see him start showing some heel tendencies, either him or Angelo. One of them needs to be a heel in this. They're going to do that.
Absolutely. Bronson Reed, guys, I think a monster, needs a breakup moment since coming back to WWE. Not really connected with the crowd as well as he could have done at this point, but not everyone watches NXT. This could be a big showing for him, Jonesy, and I'm hoping he does get that breakout moment, but I don't see him winning.
Mrs. High's hand, I expect him to do some big bumps. May eliminate one of the contenders, but he's not winning for me. I think he's just really there to show what he can do. Maybe do something like he smashes the chamber or something. He does something just that makes him stand out a little bit. But I don't see him being pinned first, which is a good thing, really.
Absolutely, Max.
Bronson Reed, I think he's getting the harsh end of, he's being treated harshly, man. I think people don't know about him. People are saying, oh, but he beat Okada. Jonah beat Okada. It's a different character if you want to go down to that. You see what I mean? This is 2 different places. And we know a large percentage of the main roster don't watch NXT anyway. So how would they have ever known about this guy? Just take him as a new guy. He's been booked so, quite well, not very often, but we see him at least once every 2 weeks or so, and he's winning matches. So they're putting him in here as, again, probably big breakout moment. I was trying to remember this week and I forgot to check, so maybe you guys can help me with this. I'm sure Otis was in the Elimination Chamber maybe last year or 2 years ago. Did he go through the chamber glass door and just outside?
Yeah, he did.
So he was never actually pinned.
I don't know if he was pinned or not. I don't remember. I remember that he went through the chamber there.
I think he was there in a tag team elimination chamber match, and I think Tucker was the one that took the pin because it was Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode's storyline at the time with sweet Mandy Rose, who of course is not mentioned so much anymore. But just quick on a side note, Otis for Maximum Male Models, I'm all in on that. Just got to say that quickly.
That's going to be fun. That would be
amazing.
I was thinking that could be a way of eliminating Bronson Reed, because to have the big guy pinned, that might hurt him. So getting him out through the chamber and he just never returns to the match could be a way to handle that. But again, it's just to have a good showing, show that he can hang and be a bit destructive in this kind of match.
Sounds good, Jonesy.
Yeah, I think it'll be just be hoping we get a good showing more than anything. I think he's not, as Max said, he's not really had a fair run in. He came in with such sort of steam. Everyone was excited to see him back. He's luckily got away from the Miz now, which is good to see. I just want to see him be a bit of a sort of rebel, so to speak, go out and be dominating. WWE lack the sort of big man, so to speak, like back in the day where we had natural disasters, people like that were larger than life, so to speak. They need that. And I think for me, they've got Braun Strowman on SmackDown. He needs to be Raw's equivalent of Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Quickly, then we'll talk about Johnny Gargano. He needs to get away from Dexter Lumis, in my opinion. Yeah. But I think that for me, he's probably starting this chamber off, and I think that he will have a very good showing in it. But I see him being one of the first eliminated. I don't see him winning it, Mex.
Yeah, I agree. I think, again, he needs to get away from Lumis. The likes of him, the likes of Bronson Reed, they're kind of just in like a flying holding pattern right now. I'm really going to start judging them and their booking post-Mania. Once these other kind of places need to be filled up and there's going to be more spots opening up, I guess. Right now, obviously, we're telling certain stories for WrestleMania. So Gargano, again, he can always put in a good match easy in his sleep, but it's now to start making it mean something. And hopefully we get a good performance here so he just stays at the forefront of fans' minds. But yeah, he won't win.
I agree with that entirely. Jonesy.
I think for me, he's just there because he's a great worker. If this would have been him when he'd been fired and this was a comeback, I'd be really behind him. But he's not been a great success since coming back, unfortunately. I think he's struggled a little bit. But just looking for a good show. And he's a great worker. But yeah, he's not a front runner for me.
No. Okay. So now we're down to the final two names. Then no one said their predictions so far. It'll be one of these next two. I wonder if we have a split opinion on this, but obviously, I will say who it's not going to be my prediction next. My prediction will be the last person I mentioned. So I'm going to explain why this person's not going to win either. Seth freaking Rollins is not winning the Elimination Chamber match for me. The reason why, we've not seen this for a number of years in the Elimination Chamber, I think Logan Paul is going to enter into the chamber to cost Rollins the match, either from underneath the ring, moving the chamber spot. We've seen it with HBK and Undertaker back in the day. It's been many years since we've seen it. I think we've got a new generation of fans that have probably not seen a spot like that before. So I think this is a good place to do it. Seth has been talking about Logan Paul outside of WWE. Didn't want to talk about him inside WWE. So Logan Paul says, well, if you want to talk about me outside, but want to talk about me inside WWE, I'm going to make you do it inside WWE because I'm going to invade your territory and cost you the United States Championship. So that's the reason why I think Seth doesn't win. And just to answer another question as well quickly, I think Seth may start the chamber with Johnny Gargano if Austin Theory doesn't. It's one of those two with Johnny Gargano. So, Jonesy, I'll go with you first. Then, what's your thoughts with Seth freaking Rollins?
Yeah, for me, runner-up. I think he's in the final two. He's a really strong, credible person. And yeah, I agree with you. I think they have to get to this Logan Paul Seth match at WrestleMania. That, what you said, adds further salt in the wound, so to speak. It gets everybody against Logan Paul if they're not already. Yeah, I'd be a fan of that. This is really good storyline development and really good storyline potential. So I'd like to see that. And for me, it fits with Austin Theory being a coward. So my prediction here is Austin Theory. And the reason why I think Austin Theory will win, I think Austin Theory, clearly he's been a great champion. He somehow gets the job done. He doesn't need the United States title in this match against John Cena at WrestleMania, but I can't say anybody else. And controversially, this is crazy, but I'll put it out there. You got to be bold sometimes. I think Matt Cardona is going to help Austin Theory win the chamber.
Interesting. I like the idea. What would make you think Cardona will return to do that, if you don't mind my asking quickly?
I think Cardona's due back soon. What a way to make an impact in the main event. Like, I think Theory needs to somehow get that assist. If he's not going to get it from Logan Paul, he has to get it from somebody. I just don't see him beating Seth Rollins clean or pinning Seth Rollins clean.
Interesting. No, I think, well, I as much as I'd be happy for Cardona to come back, I agree with everything you said.
It's a bit crazy, though, isn't it? It's a bit out there.
I like outside the box thinking. I think it's great if there's something like that because it would be a big dynamic to bring it back in. But like you said, Austin Theory is kind of that coward. I think Austin Theory also is going to start doing the United States Open Challenge after WrestleMania. Start doing the John Cena references. We'll do it for WrestleMania, and that's where Cena shows up to get the match. That's going to be where I think it's going to go down. Mex, Your face perhaps told me when I said Seth freaking Rollins that wasn't the name you expected to come out of my mouth.
Yeah, truth be told, I'm sitting on the fence here, which I don't usually do, but it's one of two names for me: Theory or Rollins. Now, my line of thinking, this may be far fetched, I think Rollins actually wins the US title here, goes on to have the US Championship match with Logan Paul at WrestleMania, and Logan Paul wins the US Championship at WrestleMania.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow.
Because that guy and just the numbers and everything he does outside, they had the Super Bowl the other day and they played Logan Paul's highlights of him in Saudi Arabia in his match against Roman. That's not a WWE ad. That's a Logan Paul ad. So if he can do that for WWE indirectly, imagine what he can do with a US title over his shoulder. So, and if we do get a split of titles and two top champions, one on Raw, one on SmackDown, the US Championship that they've built up so well doesn't necessarily need to be there every week at that point. So it might be a bit far-fetched, but that's why I think Seth Rollins could win. By the same breath, I think Austin Theory can still win. But yeah.
Do you know what though, Mex? I can see both playing out, and I think what you said makes total logical sense. The thing is, we're saying what attraction is going to be the United States Championship match? Is it Theory versus Cena, or is it Seth versus Logan? Both have that, mainstream attraction appeal. Logan, like you said, could even have on an even bigger scale at this particular moment with the Super Bowl stuff like that. But John Cena also is in Hollywood. So there are lots of different ways it can go about, but that's our predictions. I'll tell you what, we're going to go to the chat quickly because I know Mex in particular as well, you have got your stream starting very shortly.
I've got another 10, 15 minutes, so it's cool, no worries.
But I also know with Jonesy as well, I believe he has work tomorrow morning as well. So let's go with our chat and see what they've got to say. Nubico, starting off with, of course, Sami Zayn has been the talk of the stream. I love that Sami Zayn. This is Sami's stream, by the way. Sorry, Alyssa, but it's been Sami's stream. Noob says, I would love to hear Sami's old theme song. Absolutely, that would be, it'd just be awesome to see, wouldn't it? WrestleMania 40 is Io versus Asuka. Build great matches. Alyssa, would love that to go down. They need to do it at some point. They teased it, and damn it, if you're going to tease me, you got to deliver as well. Eric says, Priest for the upset. Let's get it. Do you know what? Not against it if it did happen, but obviously we predicted against it. But a big Priest shout there from Eric there. Thank you for giving us your intake there. Bama saying, this is the Montez Ford's coming out party. I'm picking him to win this match, and we'll see if he could be a singles champion inside the tag team and not be broken up. Bronson will take the last pin from Ford. I like that because it's two breakup stars as the final two. Maybe whatever shenanigans cost the other two, Theory and Rollins, early. And also, I mean, like you said there, the New Day didn't split up. Obviously, when Kofi won the championship or Big E, there was always that support. So, I mean, the Street Fights probably don't need to break up, Jonesy.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Maybe not.
Max, would you agree?
Yeah, we could see the Dawkins kind of move into like the role of the heavy, if you like, and kind of just support Montez Ford. So
I'd love to see him join the Hurt Business personally. Yeah. That's what I would love to see them. Rather than almost bring them two in, you've got a really credible tag team. Although you've got Benjamin and Alexander that are quite good at the tag team. The Street Profits have really had a nice touch as heels.
We haven't really seen the Street Profits as heels for a long, long time, if at all. So I would be interested to see what they would do with that character. I think Montez Ford, he's amazing on the mic. So I think he'd get a whole new lease of life when he gets the opportunity to do that. Theory retains to build a nice feud for Gargano at WrestleMania. Of course, they talked about WrestleMania and the championship before. So West Coast Oscar, I like how you've connected the dots together there to make that happen if Cena's not available. And Eric, again, would love to see Priest in the chamber. We don't think so, but Eric, if you do, we'll be very happy for you. Hot take 2 from Bama. Samoa says Dawkins is a better worker and promo of the Street Profits, but he doesn't have as much it as Ford. In the long run, Tez may be the bigger star, but Dawkins may be the better character. Mex, what do you reckon?
I don't think it's a hot take. Yeah, it's unpopular somewhat, but I can see it. I think so. I saw. And I won't say too much. I don't want to get people in trouble. When I was in Cardiff for Clash of the Castle, I saw Dawkins on a night out. And this guy has charisma. Like, he really has it. But obviously, we see Ford being the guy to be loud, if you like. And Dawkins is kind of a bit in the shadow in that respect. But Dawkins is definitely good. And we can all see he's worked on his physical appearance, his in-ring appearance as well, his in-ring ability, shall I say, over the last couple of months. Like, he's preparing that if Ford does take off, I'm not going to be the guy that's going to be Tucker and basically get released. I'm still going to be relevant on this roster.
Yeah, I hope so as well for Dawkins there. Jonesy, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think for me, both of them are credible. So if either one of them gets the push, I think I'd be happy with. I don't think the other one will be totally lost though. I don't think the other one will be stranded without the other one. But the money thing to do if they do split is have that singles feud really.
Absolutely. And then break them up in a draft afterwards so they can have their own separate paths, not being
And then you can always
intertwined
get
all
them
the
back together
time.
in a year's time, couldn't you? If you need
Exactly.
to.
If it doesn't work out, then that's what you do. Absolutely. But totally agree. Jumbo actually says there that Logan Paul might end up coming in and Fury could win. Also, Bama says, I agree. Seth and Johnny at 1 and 2. Seth is going to carry this match overall. Fury will beat the last entrant. Could make sense of it. We didn't actually say the last entrant. Who do we think will be the last entrant, Mex?
The last entrant into the match. Maybe Bronson Reed to come in there and kind of clean up the place, clean up house, take some guys out and look dominant for a bit.
I think if it's not Fury, I think Bronson Reed. So I'm actually gonna agree with you, actually, Mex. I think Bronson Reed. Jonesy.
I'm going Fury. Fury's a coward, lazy. I think he'll come in right last when he's somehow or another will come out last just to make it look even more sort of cheap the way he retains his title.
Absolutely. Hope for Fury's sake he doesn't take a bump like he did last year from Lesnar. Let's hope for his sakes anyway. Ed's saying he wish he could stick around, but he's got to go out and see Ant-Man in a few hours. Hope you enjoy that, Ed. Thank you for stopping by, though. We appreciate you coming in here once again. The thing that's missing from Liv Morgan, says Jumbo, is the heel side of her look, aka Harley Quinn. Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see that. She's definitely teased that before. To see it in the heel side, I think would be quite interesting. So I like your take there. Bama says he would. I like that take. I would love Seth to win the US title, and just because of Jake Paul, Logan wins the title at Mania. Great take. Great stuff indeed there. So they've got perhaps a believer there, Mex, on that one as well. And also, how about Priest versus Cena? He could put Priest over. Would love to see the match. I think it'd be a great match. Just don't think it's going to be Mania.
Eric 100% wants Damian Priest to win, in case anyone didn't know.
Have you got money on Eric? I'm just checking. If there's money on this match, you know, we don't blame you for it if you do, my friend. And I hope it comes through for you. Honestly, I'm going to be secretly rooting for Damian Priest now, more than I was before. And Dan says, big up. Can you see Cena coming back? My answer to that was yes. I think it'll be at WrestleMania. I don't think, well, it's going to sound very lazy from me. You can't see him on the build, but you'll see him at WrestleMania. I think he will turn up in Hollywood. I don't think he'll be on the build at all. I think Austin Fury will do a US Open challenge and mock Cena the whole way through. And I think he'll find a way to retain that championship each and every week. And that's when Cena makes that return at WrestleMania to then put the answer to Austin Fury. I hope not to beat Austin Fury. I think Fury needs to win more. But yeah, certainly think it'll be awesome either way. Mex, either way, what happens? Do you see Cena coming back for WrestleMania?
Yeah, and if he can, obviously, I know some of these things aren't down to them, it's scheduling and stuff around their films, you know, especially where a certain Mr. Johnson has let down the WWE universe. Cena will be seen as a bigger star and, you know, beloved if he makes time to come back and have this match with Theory and put Theory over. We've seen the comparisons as well between Theory and Cena. Yeah, US Championship Open Challenge. That's Cena's origins, you know, somewhat as well. So it all makes sense. And yeah, I would love to see Cena come back.
Just to state as well, with the Open Challenge as well, I think he should face people he knows he can beat as well, just to really rub the salt in the wound. Not like a proper Open Challenge, just be like one of them sort of, well, like when Kurt Angle used to do those sort of like invitational things, and then he ended up running into Daniel Puder back in 2004 or something. But Cena's also showcased for the next WWE 2K game, so it does make sense that he would come back, Jonesy.
Yeah, it does. I think he will. Like, I think the thing is, come back and have this big match, but I really hope that Theory is the one that goes over. Cena doesn't need to win. And Hollywood, it makes sense, Cena. This could be a real good lifting ground for Theory to go to the next level.
Absolutely. And also we've got here West Coast Pub, but no more Cena. It's definitely Zax behind the keyboard. Absolutely. Great to have you on board, Zax. And Eric says, no, he's my number 2 guy after all, after Ali. There for you, Damian Priest. Some good taste in wrestlers there. Fantastic in-ring workers, both of them. Eric, we will be cheering on for you. We're doing our last couple of comments now, guys, and we'll be wrapping up the stream, but make sure to hit the like button, share this with a friend as well, and subscribe to SCW if you haven't already. But also, do we think Randy Orton is coming back? Obviously, there has been some teasers potentially. His boots or new boots are going to be designed from his boot designer, Jonesy.
Yeah, we're coming back. I don't know what point, but I hope we get this Riddle Randy Orton match that I've been crying out for a few years now. I think this will be good to see him back. But yeah, I think he'll come back. It makes sense to get him back in time for WrestleMania.
If they can, absolutely. And if not, certainly a first challenger against Cody Rhodes. After all, wrestling has more than one royal family. Why not continue on with an old legacy storyline, Mex?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a great shout. That's where he should be being used to kind of put over these other guys and create those new stars. So yeah, I hope he can come back in time for Mania. It's always good to see Randy Orton, but I don't think we particularly need him on this Mania card. From what it's looking like, it looks really good so far.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And gosh, I can't take credit for that. NXT, Steve, I believe, said those comments about the Randy Cody feud, so I can't take credit for that. But I think it'd be awesome if he does. He don't agree with you. He's probably not needed on this WrestleMania, but certainly night after Mania could be a shout potentially to do it. That could be a way. That'd be a great big pop for Raw after Manias. We've not had pops like that for a good couple of years now. But let's get these last comments then through. Then the problem we live is that going heel, which is way too over with the fans. Do you know what? That's also a great shout. Fans do. A lot of fans do like it. The ones that like her a lot. I think they probably would refuse to boo her. But also, Daz here says that, and this is going with some of the other comments in chat, we're going to get Rey versus Dominic Mysterio. Yeah. Absolutely looks to be on point. And Jumbo agrees with that as well there. Also, Bama, I miss Randy with his back injury and Riddle MIA. It might not happen soon. There were rumors going around that Riddle hasn't even got a spot on WrestleMania. Ivory's not been around for quite a time now. But last comment, then we've got last two comments. Two have come flying up here. Eric, I personally agree that Randy Orton and Riddle match is the license to create money. Agree with you, Eric, on that one. And Bama says 100% Steve. Randy pulls Cody close as an advisor, manages him while recovering from his injury, only to RKO him in time. Randy versus Cody at SummerSlam. Bama, you're quite good at this fantasy booking stuff. WWE, if you're watching, get on the phone to our Bama.
And if you want to add to the ante, put Braun Breaker in there, make it a triple threat, and you've got the Steiner heritage there as well, haven't you?
Absolutely. I think that certainly would be quite a lot of fun to see as well. But yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's enough time in the stream left for me to vent about John Cena there. Well, I think that unfortunately there isn't West Coast Podcast because that's where we're going to wrap it up. But I want to say a massive thank you to Jonesy Chats Wrestling and Mex WrestleManiac UK. Guys, just quickly before we go, let yourselves plug your channels and your stuff. Jonesy, you go first.
Yeah, Jonesy Chats Wrestling. I don't really do too many videos anymore, but it's there. There's a bit of an archive. Just have a watch and enjoy my opinion.
I've kind of kidnapped him and put him on here more these days. That's kind of what's happened.
I'm lazy.
But, and Mex, of course, you're going to be with Wrestling's very shortly, but you got your own content as well.
Yeah, you guys can check me out, WrestleManiac UK, on all the platforms. And yeah, if you want to kind of see more diverse wrestling content, more fun entertainment stuff, that's all on Wrestling's. We are starting our Elimination Chamber prediction stream. So if you haven't got enough yet, you've heard all my predictions, but if you want to hear from the rest of the guys, you can join us on the Wrestling's channel at 10:30. Well, in the UK, that is, or the next 10 minutes or so. So yeah.
I'm going to let Mex get himself a quick break in there. So, Bex, thank you so much. Jonesy, thank you so much as well. To the chat, everyone watching, thank you so much. All enjoy Elimination Chamber this Saturday. I will look to try and get some form of review on Sunday if possible. But enjoy the show and check out more videos coming on the channel in the meantime. Also, other channels, including Battle in the Valley. There are some shorts as well with Elimination Chamber. One that came yesterday, one that's coming tomorrow. So pretty much, it's a busy week here on SCW. Take care. Enjoy yourselves the road to WrestleMania, and we'll see you guys all very soon. Thanks for watching.